where they're the individual roll-up doors. This is not at all what that type of facility is. Those facilities are not conditioned space. They have folks that come in and out. People do live in them. They operate little businesses out of them. This is a controlled facility that has 2 points of access. It's controlled by a key card or a keypad that you have. If you were to rent the space, you have your own individual number or card. You're the only one that can get in there. So no one is sleeping in this facility. They have, like I said, the manager that's roving. All of them are interior, no outdoor storage, and everything is air conditioned. So it's a much different scenario than what you've seen out there in some of the older facilities. So have no fear in that respect. You won't have people living in there. It won't create the need for housing opportunities in there by any means. Again, just wanted to go back to the property shape. This is the right place for this type of use. Again, we had talked several years ago about alternative uses. And again, what else is going to go there? You're going to have all your commercial type uses. They're hugely impactful in terms of traffic. They're not going to fit on the site because of the parking. This is really one of the few uses that could be here. So I think I hit on the traffic, the homeless issue, indoor, outdoor, people living in the facility, the rodents, like rodents and things in wildlife. So you may have a little bit of influx of some of the rodents as the property gets cleared. There is a way to kind of control that during the construction process. But after that's done, there's not going to be an issue with the rodents anymore. So it's going to tame all that. Right now, it's one of the only places that some of these things are ending up. So I think that'll go away as well. We talked about the dumpster going inside, so you're not going to have that. I think those were the main points. If there's anything else that I can touch on, I'd be happy to go over that. I hope that answers some of your questions. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that clarification has been made about the dumpster. You have developed a site plan that shows that the dumpster location has been removed from that section of the property, is that correct?
That is correct. It used to be as you were coming in West Place and it made that curve, it was right there at the end, which was great for picking up by the trash facility, but it wasn't the best aesthetically. So now, again, it's been pushed into the site, interior to the storage site, and in behind a fence. So it's concealed at all times. It's rolled out into the loading area, which is still on site. It's serviced, and then it goes back behind the fence.
This was one of my concerns from the very beginning, was that the potential placement of a dumpster. I just want to ask, you have other structures that are built under this format or even auspices. Can you tell us a little bit about how this is compared to other facilities that we could take a look at?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the sites closest is probably the one by the outlet mall on the east side of the road. It's on
Congress.
Congress, just right by the outlet mall. That's one of Storage Rental of America's buildings. So that was actually something that the image of that was brought in from the previous storage facility developer, that they wanted it to look like that. So then we came to the table and we said, oh wow, they want this exact design. So that was where we kind of started everything from. So that one you can go take a look at. Is there any other facilities like this that you operate that would be close to visit?
I mean, most of the other ones are converted.
Converted, yeah.
I mean,
So
you can see what we did on Blue Heron. That's a beautiful.
That one was all redone, yeah.
We made it all interior, cleaned up.
Right by the UPS facility and FedEx. So that's, but again, that's a conversion.
Avenue West.
Yeah, yes, but the ground up, the nearest one would be Congress by the outlet mall.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, if I can ask a question. So just to be on record, the owner of this one is the same owner as the one on Congress? That's the same type
Yes.
facility?
Correct,
Okay.
yep. Same builder, operator, owner, everything the same.
What, excuse me, sir, Mr. Josh, what would this storage do for us as far as the value of our properties? Gonna bring it up or down?
I can't really answer that. I'm not a property appraiser, but in my opinion, any investment into the community that's not harmful in a sense. It's not creating a traffic impact. It's not creating any noxious noises or fumes or lighting demands. It's not doing any of those things. So in my mind, new investment is always a good thing. It shows that the community is up and coming and you're doing things. To see stagnation, things that like you said, maybe those other storage facilities, they're on the downward, right? So that in my mind is not a good thing. So, but these folks, the Storage Rental of America, they operate hundreds of these facilities and own them across the country. And so they have maintenance schedules. They have things in place to make sure that they don't deteriorate. So, I'm not an expert in that field, so I couldn't tell you exactly. That'd be my opinion though, from
Oh,
experience.
Is there someone that could speak to the maintenance schedules and, that you just referred to?
You'd have.
Hi, my name is Bo Raish. I'm our Vice President of Development at Storage Rentals of America. We have a fully staffed construction and maintenance team, probably 10 to 15 people. We're assessing the CapEx needs at all of our properties on an ongoing basis. I mean, this is a huge capital investment, this property. We've got, concrete, structural steel. This isn't one of the kind of earlier generation storage facilities. So, but we're constantly evaluating all of our facilities, reserving money for CapEx needs as they come along. New roofs, new pavement. As far as the operationally, these are staffed facilities. I mean, I know we brought up about rodent and pest control. I mean, we usually contract for ongoing rodent and pest control services. We don't want our renters to have to deal with that. That would impact our bottom line and the rents we get. So, we have a full department that's dedicated to maintaining facilities like this and, building them and maintaining them. So, I mean, if that's a concern, I mean, it wouldn't do our investors any good to let the facility go to waste like you've seen some of these other ones. I mean, this is a huge capital investment on behalf of our investors. So it's our fiduciary responsibility to keep these things up and keep them well rented. So.
Thank
Does that
you.
answer that question?
Thank you. That's valuable input. All right. I just want to make sure concerns are being addressed. Does anyone else have? I know the discussion about the homeless people. I'm going to ask Lieutenant to speak up, or Captain to speak up a little bit about homelessness in Mangonia Park and what are some of the concerns that have been brought to your attention.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The concern that was brought up about the homeless on the corner, if I'm not mistaken, you're talking about 45th and Congress Avenue?
Actually, 45th and West Place.
45th and West Place? Okay. All right. Okay. 45th and West Place. Just so you know, yes, there has been an ongoing issue with the homeless, and that's been brought up time and time again at the council meetings. And the sheriff's office is taking measures to deal with those issues as they arise. But keep in mind that folks that are homelessness is not a crime. So you cannot arrest a person just because they're homeless. You cannot harass a person just because they're homeless. Now, if a person is doing something suspicious, you've heard me say this time and time again, PSA, if there is something that concerns you, we will not get mad at you if you call the police. At the very least, we will go out, we will meet with this person. If the person is indeed homeless, we can offer that person services. And if the person accepts services, then we can direct them to those services. If not, if that person is caught committing a certain type of crime, then that person can be taken into custody. But again, homelessness is not a crime. And so I will caution you, and when it comes to dealing with those folks, as far as harassment, now again, if they're out there, they're hanging out in front of your yard, if they're committing some type of act, call us. If you see someone in your neighborhood that you haven't seen before, and you're concerned, there's nothing wrong with you calling us. We won't get mad at you. If they're hanging out behind the storage building and the storage building is closed, that's probably something suspicious. So, call us. And also for those that, for the owners of the storage facility, we do have a business partnership program with the sheriff's office, which is a program in which you can have, fill out an affidavit, and you can purchase some signs, which, these signs are in compliance with Florida law. And what it does is it gives the sheriff's office the ability to warn trespassers off of your property. So there are measures that you can take to control that. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, thank you. Was there another hand going up? Did I see someone up? But Pastor Ferguson, you have one more comment?
Yes, do I stand here? I guess stand here
If
if you want.
it's,
Thank you, Josh, and the other young man who just talked about, I didn't hear you. Vote, yes, vote. All right, I want to say about the homeless, it's not that we are trying to harass or anything about the homeless. I think we were talking about in our entryway of our town, if we trying to attract others to live here or others to to open up a business or something here, and if that's the first thing they see, if that building do attract homeless, people would probably say, well, I don't want to be a part of that town because it don't look right. This is the main entry into our town, and then off Australia. So anytime, you know, like I say, the building looked beautiful from what I seen on the picture, and I seen the one, I think the young man back here, what is your name, sir? Benjamin. I seen the one over on Blue Heron, beautiful, it's really beautiful, real sight, because he mentioned that, what it looked like, that's not y'all building though, right?
Yeah, I redid that.
Okay, you did a wonderful job, we were just there yesterday.
The one over at Congress.
Yeah, the one on Congress, what I'm talking about, you talking about on Blue Heron?
I redid that one and I built that.
Okay, so you're the contractor.
Now I'm the owner.
You're the owner, okay.
Yeah.
All right, you did a good job, whoever, yeah.
Thank you.
But I think you said that this building, particular storage building, is AC all the way, no?
Limited access.
Okay. All right, so that's a good thing, I mean, that's good to know. And I think the young man was talking about control the rodents, and he said they'll be there if it do happen, the maintenance guy back there.
Yeah, it'll be fully maintained, and I mean, if rodents become a problem, we'll have exterminators there, we wouldn't want that for our tanks.
All right. But that's. I think that's all I wanted to say, mainly about Lieutenant.
the captain did step
Say
out.
Captain, I'm
Captain
sorry.
did step out, but
And
he'll
I
return, I'm
just want to
sure.
make sure you understand why we were saying about
Okay.
the homeless.
Mhm.
I'm not totally against a project, the project itself, it's coming in our entryway and different stuff, we want to be able to help attract others to come
Right.
into our place. If they keep it up, it'll probably be one of the best things that happen for us. You know?
And I just want to say to you and all the others who've made comments, we're concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, when the project first came to us, we aired our concerns. So it's not strange to hear some of the concerns that you're saying. We have heard, we've talked with them about those concerns, and I'm glad that they're here to clarify to you tonight how they will handle those concerns.
I know one last thing. Will we be hiring our community, some people from our community, or you bringing in people when you get the building done? How will that work? Because that's the main thing we need jobs for our people too as well. Community together.
We bid every project openly, so we contract out the construction. If they're applying to jobs, they're gonna get a shot.
Well, hopefully it'll be from the community.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know we have Councilwoman Buchanan, who have a comment.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary. It's always good when you own your home. I appreciate the attendance from the community. I hear all the concerns. I respect your feedbacks. One of the things I always encourage, even with our homeless individuals, I have helped individuals that has been homeless just by even having a conversation with them. And as we know, it's not just Mangonia Park, it's all over. And while we can't friend them because they won't leave, it's just a matter of either getting to know that individual. Sometimes they just need a hand. And I have helped so far 3 individuals to come off homelessness, where I've helped them to find temporary shelters. And sometimes that's all they need is either that affirmation, some kind of encouragement. And I believe if there's going to be a building or not a building, they move from borders to borders. They're going to find your territory if they feel comfortable in that place, whether there's a building or not. I've also heard where I wasn't aware of this building until just now. So I volunteered for the town before I even knew I was going to own a house in the town. And one of the things I can say Mangonia Park has grown. We have matured since the early 2000s. And I remember even owning my house, it took me months to even knew that the water place was over here because I was so isolated. But after I became acquainted with the town, I was always able to pick up my phone and call. Hey, what's going on this week? Is there anything that I need to know type of thing? We have grown where we're now on YouTube. So you can't make it to the meetings while we're cooking or something, turn it on. Or you can always go back and watch. You can't hear?
Muffled, the video is distorted. I've tried several times.
Make a phone call. Hey, can I get the minutes for this meeting? Or can you pull it for me where it's public records? It can be, or find out what's going on type of thing. There's also newsletters that goes out that tells you what is what. Most importantly, before there's any project, there are letters that goes out. It's also sent out in a form of newspaper article, right, Sherry? Correct me if I'm newspaper article. Like there are a few different things that has to happen before any development gets approved or whatever steps they go through. Because I've gotten the letters in the mails. I've seen it in the newspapers even before I became an elected individual. And it's because I've always been involved within the community and what's going on. I value everyone's opinion, value your feedback, and I can say as we work together to get through whatever phase this is, together we're a team and we can't do it by ourselves. Coming to the meetings is very important. It's a really great way to know what's going on. And like you said, I can't hear, but there are many other ways that we can be informed instead of waiting until an opportunity like this to say, well, you shouldn't have done this, or don't do this type of thing, because we value what you have to say. We want to hear your feedback. But if we're not hearing it in the beginning and before, and then you wait till now or something to an extent, not that we don't value it, we do. But I just want you to know that I hear your concerns. And I just wanted to say that much. We work together with Captain and his team where the homelessness is concerned, and that's all we could do at this moment is just to continue working together to see what we can do. Can't arrest them, can't run them, can't chase them, can't wet them up, and you can't friend them. But feel free. My daughter is 17, and we have little bags. We issue them out to them. You can tell the ones that need it. You can tell the ones that don't. You can tell the ones that need resources. And that's just a way of helping them to stay out of our communities and get in a better lifestyle, because eventually they'll become homeowners like ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like just a point of clarification to be shared between the town manager and the attorney. The steps that we have to go through to get to this point in the project procurement process. So that it's not that we just came up with this 6 months ago or 3 months ago, how this has progressed. And as Councilwoman Buchanan Webb just stated, there's much that goes on before we get to this point. And we don't want to keep anyone in the dark. We do want to share with the public as much as possible. And we try to open communication any way that we can think possible so that you know what's going on, what's coming into our town.
Vice Mayor, so I can speak specifically to this project because each project is a little bit different. And obviously, the more complex, the more steps that there are. This particular project, this all started with a conversation between the owner before he bought the property, myself, and the mayor. And I think he had some team members there just to see. And Josh is correct. The previous owner was going to put a storage facility there. And unfortunately, he got cancer and passed away. And so the family sold the property. Mr. McFarland bought it for this. This property had to go through, first of all, they came to Town Hall in front of Town Council. They did what we call a soft presentation, where they just do a presentation, they give their concept, they get some direct feedback from council members in a public meeting, and they go back, and then they form their plan based on the feedback they get. Then, on the staff level, we have what we call a development review committee. On that development review committee, we have both of our engineers, both our utility engineer and our civil engineer, our attorney, our town planner, the town clerk, town manager, and the fire department and the police department, they're involved as well, as is code enforcement. So at DRC, Development Review Committee, they hear from the consultants, and our team of consultants is really, I'll just say, tough. I mean, our civil engineer, Mr. Van Cott, has been the town engineer for 42, 43 years and knows every blade of grass in Mangonia Park and is very tough on developers, and I guess these guys can probably attest to that. So when they survive DRC, they could, I can't remember if this particular project had to have a variance or not. I'm guessing that you did have to have a variance, which sometimes if your setbacks or your green space is not conducive to what the town code is, then you have to approach the Board of Adjustment. We had a Board of Adjustment meeting this morning. Apostle Ferguson was there. He's a new member. So if the Board of Adjustment grants them their variance or variances, then they come to Town Council for a preliminary. This particular project had to have what is called a comp plan text amendment, which means they had to go and get state approval in order to change the town's comp plan. And they were successful. That requires 2 public readings in this chamber, and that's where all the advertising and everything comes into play. So they had 2 meetings for that. It also requires at least 9 different agencies throughout the state and our neighboring communities to review it and give input on that comp plan text amendment. So once they got through that, then they came for preliminary site plan approval in front of Town Council, and that was August of last year, I believe, August of 22. They got preliminary approval, but they did get some conditions on that. They had a long list of conditions they had to go back, including permits from state agencies. And so they have all of that in hand, and that's why they're back here today. And that's what they've had to go through. The enclave, when that was being developed, many of you may remember that, that had twice as many steps to do something like that. So there is a thorough review of all projects, some of them not quite to this magnitude, or definitely not on the magnitude of enclave. But I think Hampton Court years ago was on that level. Certainly when the Highlight property is sold and to be developed, there will be many, many, many public meetings on that. And I hope I gave some clarification on that.
I think that was very well done. Anything you left out, attorneys, that you'd like to add in?
Thought it was very well put. Nothing to add here.
Okay, thank you. So just wanted to let you know that we have been working this project request for several months, several years. And we have, like you said, a long list of conditions that they had to meet. I know the first time we heard about the storage, it was a 4-story building, and I said, forget it. No, it's not coming into Magnolia Park. You gotta revise that. Not no 4-story anything is coming in Magnolia Park. Now, that was at that time. Now, since then, we've had other projects that are coming before us that are even more than 4-story. So there's change coming to Magnolia Park. We just have to kind of take it as we go and assess the process, assess the projects, and make sure that this is what will meet the needs of our community. Are there any other concerns we need to allow before we close public comments? Thank you. All public comments have been made. All right, our agenda item was for approving the site plan. So at this time, we'll take a recommendation from our motion to approve.
And Vice Mayor and the attorney can correct me, you would be either voting up or down the resolution for the final site plan. So put it in the form of the resolution 2023-12.
That's absolutely correct, including the conditions I read out loud on the record earlier.
Okay, so the motion should include resolution number and the conditions that have been stated. All right.
So are we doing item 2 and 3 together, or we're doing 2 and then going back to 3 separately?
Separate.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I so move that we approve resolution number.
Mr. Mayor's not here. Sorry, I had to do that to you, Mr. Mayor, for the minute. That's the old habit we have, I know.
Tell you, we should sit in this position more often. Vice Mayor Johnson, I so move that we approve resolution number 2023-2 with all the conditions as revised.
As stated, the motion has been made
Second.
and second. Any questions?
Are we talking about this site over here on Portfield Street, all right? 'Cause it's a no for me.
We haven't called for the vote yet, but yes, that is the site that we're talking about. All right, at this time, are we ready for a vote? No. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quinn,
No.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
It passes 3-1.
Thank you. Now to move on to our next agenda item, request for approval of a plat by SROA 45th Street. Attorney, would you read that for us, please?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Again, this is a request for approval of a plat. This goes along with the same project that we've been discussing. The purpose of this is simply to reflect a right-of-way dedication for the road. It's West Place Road on the west side of the property that was required. That's the purpose of this request.
And that would indicate the address of the property is 45th Street or Westwood?
Correct.
Okay.
And I believe the applicant is here, and they can make any comments if the board has questions for him on that as well.
Any questions or comments from the desk? Okay, then I will go to.
And Vice Mayor, this was referenced in the previous resolution, the plat.
That was referenced, but we do have to have a separate vote for it. All right, thank you. All right, so this time we'll ask for a motion to approve.
Vice Mayor, I don't know if there's any public comment on this one. I would, just as it's a separate item, I would open it up for public comment.
Oh, certainly, thank you for giving me that leverage. I didn't realize we should do that. Yes, any public comment on the third item on our agenda, which is the request for the approval of the plat by SROA 45th Street.
We have no viewers online.
No online. Anyone in the in-house of, town council, would like to make,
I heard someone say something, the SROA, the plat is for the same facility, right?
Yeah.
That's what
flat, yes, it's the same facility, just a legal ramification, it must be.
I think already, I thought I saw it back there already. Okay, we good.
Just for clarification, you're saying plaque.
P-L-A-T, flat,
Plat.
that's,
Could you please explain what the
yes, attorney, please.
Gotta come on.
It's just a land use term. It refers to that area of land. And what's happening in this instance was there was a roadway that needed to be dedicated to allow for access to the property behind where this is being built. It was a requirement as part of the first resolution that we passed earlier. It just has to be read as a separate item this evening.
Okay, just.
Correct.
Make sure there's a clarification with a plaque. Good access.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you for those clarifications. Are we ready for a motion? Call for a motion from the council?
Madam Vice Mayor, I so move that we approve the request for the approval of a plat by SROA on 45th Street, resolution number 2023-12. Site plan application number SR 2022-04.
Okay, it has been properly moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and call for our vote. Roll call?
Councilmember Buchanan Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quince? Councilmember Davis Quince? He didn't hear you.
I didn't say anything.
You have to vote
I
either
know,
yes
I'm
or no.
making a decision.
Didn't hear.
She
I
said
I
she's
haven't-
still making
I
her
hadn't made a
decision.
decision. That's for the sign for the town, correct?
She does.
We can't go any further until
Yeah,
you make your
right.
decision.
So that's that's the sign for the town, correct?
This is, like the attorney mentioned, this is just a legal step.
Okay, well, you already said yes. I said no to everything.
So your vote is?
No.
Thank you, go on. Roll call, continue.
What was the vote?
Vote, her vote was
No.
no.
Councilmember McConnell
Yes.
and Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
It passes 3-1.
All right, thank you very much. Next on our agenda, number 4, request to approve an emergency generator repair with EM Power Generators. Our professional is coming before us now.
Good evening, good evening.
Thank you very much for your time and your attention. We'll look forward to the continuation of this project. Thank you. All right. We'll need to continue with our council meeting, please.